All right. Here we go again. Buckle up. So again, there are several venues that Maduro is chargeable in. Although juries in New York City area have paid dividends over the years, I wouldn't trust it at this point because it's going to take it most likely at least a year for Maduro to get to court. Now that's another one where you have to provide spycraft protection for the attorneys in the court, so that they stay brave through the whole process. Otherwise, the extortionists, Schumer, and all the politicians up there, they live the life of being a cuck. I mean, they're rich and they're made wealthy by the system, but they live in fear that they can't do anything it tells them they can't do. So they don't care that the judge gets cucked by a bunch of Weinstein operators from Mossad, from MI5, all those people you've seen pop up in the political scene or in the Weinstein scene, that they exist, and they can make millions upon millions of dollars trying to intimidate the judge, the jury. Cambridge Analytica, yeah, buddy, of Trump. But if they sell all the information to the jurors, what happens? Possibly extortion. And it only takes one juror. I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure it happens. That's why Weinstein got a sweetheart deal. Not Weinstein, Epstein. Remember, the whole time they're making fake cases about me. Epstein's running around. Weinstein's running around. Buck, the guy, the Democratic Party donor, they're all running around actually doing what they try to accuse me of. That's the scam. Bait and switch. Yeah, we're the big investigators. I was in the FBI. I investigated this. I was in the DEA. I investigated this. So this guy, he's a he's a heroin smuggler, pedophile, and they get paid to do that to me. And then they also get paid to make sure the actual pedophiles, who the bosses, right, and narcotics distributors don't get investigated. Now, here's a good one. Okay, remember we lost trillions of dollars in the war. These are the sucks that stole the money. That's how the deep state increased their size. When we hit the wars, they stole all the fucking money and applied it to the deep state and their own lives. Right. So, like Vindman, who knows how much money he's responsible for stealing, or at least covering up. Again, you can get a well life just covering the stuff up. Well, Trump, you need that. You're a pedophile. Hey, Reagan's here somewhere. So again, that's the scam. Now, here's another one. Think of all the money that's went into Mexico. Think of all that freaking money. Gross national product, the heroin, the used to be cannabis, the meth, the fentanyl. All that money going to Mexico is still a shithole. There is no responsible adult responsible leadership in Mexico. Zero. Right. All that fucking money, it's still a shithole. And they're all whining, they're sending me back to Mexico. Oh, my parents went back. They have to finish their house that they were building down there. And meanwhile, Americans are living in apartments on Snap. They're taking over the economy now. And they changed it to what they wanted it to be. Each one of them's a little spycraft operator with a Latino supremacy culture. Now, is it every one of them? No, but enough of them. So what happens is I was receiving some more stuff. A lot of these people that are getting picked up, they have like 5 friends that deal dope. They're not in it, and there's money there that we can't account for in almost every one of their lives. But you're not going to sit there for 10 years and make a case. Right? You just get rid of them. See, that's the beauty of immigration. Again, most of them are aliens, which means this: they're not immigrants. They came as aliens, illegal aliens. They're still illegal aliens, but they were put into a process to be looked at for possible immigration. Right. I mean, face it, some of these people were deported under Biden, and those people did nothing. Why? Because the big boss is a Latino supremacist. And the question is he involved in letting narcotics in? Whatever that lawyer guy that used to be running it was. So what's happening is, first off, you have to understand something. Well, it's only narcotics, and everybody should be able to do mushrooms and walk down the street. Even if you have that mentality, has nothing to do with a certain part of this. We have spent how much money? We have how many professionals on the border, and they're still getting it in. Obviously, we either don't know where that is, or somebody is bribed to allow that to happen. Extorted, bribed, combination, whatever. They even infiltrated Border Patrol with some people. It's not common, but there was a couple people that they believe entered in with the intention of infiltrating Border Patrol. I've been through it. You end up doing a couple things wrong. I don't know if it was illegal, right? But I don't think it was illegal. It's just kind of pseudo right and wrong, kind of, unethical, right? But again, if your coworkers aren't part of it, then it can't happen, right? But again, they did way worse stuff. Wait, it's the scam I told you about. How do I know about it? Well, they lead you down the wrong road, make you think something's okay. You take a shortcut, and they go, "Oh, you took a shortcut." Right. But everybody else takes it 10 times more than you do. Right. You just admitted to pedophilia. That's what he just said. It's a scam, It's always I'm admitting to some felony. Right. But again, they're chicken shits. They're not willing to stand up to it and said, "Okay, I made a mistake, but I'm not going to commit a felony for you." Right. I can learn. And especially betray the United States type of deal. That's why I was telling you, be careful of that stuff where they point to somebody and they make them the big criminal in government. They're just targeting somebody. Right. That's why I say move forward and then begin the new standard. Because the old standard didn't exist. Even though it's a scam, it's in writing. I have to tell you, it's said it a million times. It's in writing, but nobody does it that way, right? Well, it's a way to get somebody that they want to, do the 1-2 for. They're getting paid. Somebody obviously paid them to kill me, right? Or try to kill me. They obviously got paid to kill. I didn't follow the attorneys, but I followed some of the officers. And, I wasn't obsessed with it, but eventually it came up. Like, oh, well, let's see what this person's doing. So people that weren't even part of it were paid off, and they know they were paid off. They may not have liked it, they may never do it in their life, but they know they were paid off to say nothing, right? So they got a big position real quick. Some deserved it, but quite a few didn't. Didn't even deserve to be in the agency. Should have been drummed out and put in prison. Shelton should have been put in prison. She's an extortionist, right? A professional extortionist. She's worse than the women we had in the back that were like, fleecing men. Back being the lockup. She really is. It took years to break through my mind to what she really was. I knew what was going on when I was there. Is that I let it happen because I just didn't feel like I had any power. But her sexual partner sat on a case between her and I. She harassed me. Right? Started going after something that was my disability. Right. And then, of course, he harassed me the whole time since day one in the agency. Right. Had one decent meal with her once. We were on an assignment, but people like that you can't. And of course, you're like Dick, but Dick, what's his name? Dick, what's his name? Dick Goodwin, whatever it was. The prior supervisor, she had sex with. I'm sure that's what that was. She got there, she started having sex with him, so she went, got to do whatever she wanted to do. Now, for him, I don't think she was going to blackmail him, but the other, who knows? He may have put her up to having sex with people in the office so she could blackmail them. Right? It may have been a whole ring. I know it's a ring, but the question is, how far did it go? Right? They're taking hits from the outside. So PIs contact Goodwin, say, hey, this person's paying to take that deputy out. Oh, go ahead. He contacts little girl. That's really what it is. No, they try to act like oh, it's just this office thing and this is a piece of shit. The lying. It's usually the best person in the office, and the criminals want them gone. Right. That's why I tell you, be careful of the list of people to take out of the FBI, because you end up taking out good people just because some bullshit. Right. That was like such a waste of fucking time and energy. It really was. I mean, there are people you need to get rid of, but you have to sit down and you go through the process, like the guy you eventually got rid of. What's his name? You remember Driggs or whatever? He knew he was telling you the right thing. There's he was actually telling you how to get rid of people without worrying about court cases. Right. Now they're going to wait to sue you. Who knows? Maybe if they get a good life on the outside. Like, once I left, I decompressed. I realized there was no reason to stay. I actually stayed too long, and that's that's what they do to your head. So that's why a lot of people commit suicide. They stay. Instead of leaving, they just can't. They can't fathom a life outside of where they are. Right. Outside of law enforcement. Oh, they killed tons of law enforcement officers. Those rashes of suicides by 4 officers at once. That's the deep state. Right. Weinstein type operators. And Epstein had them too. That's how he got a sweetheart deal. So what they were about to do to Rose McGowan, they actually did to the prosecutor. He became like the Secretary of Energy or something. So I tried to get him to fess up. I said stuff online. Let's tell him the truth. But you had nothing to do with that sentence. There was a bunch of operators. The judge was probably operating. Right. But the reality is, see how these pieces of shit make money? The reality is Epstein and Trump were operating. That's what screwed up their life, right? They weren't protected. Epstein, he got in further than Trump ever got in. But being around Epstein was a scam. So all the spies routed people to Epstein. There's evidence that they quite possibly knew that Canada was the infiltration route. I'll just tell you that, because I was set up a certain way with speaking to Canadians online. I mean, it's bullshit what they used to, I obviously wasn't a terrorist. I obviously wasn't a sex criminal. Right. That's why I finally stopped investigating sex crimes, because they, they're trying to infer some shit from that. Right. But again, that's what they wanted anyway. Right. No, because it's a club. The sex investigation people, it's a club. You either come along with the Weinstein people or forget it. Right. The officers constantly in my mind over the years were like, at a certain point where I guess they got wind of what I was saying and said, they come into town, these task forces. We're not allowed to investigate anything, outside of what they tell us to. They come in with the task forces and they're pointing us at people like you. I mean, yeah, there's some real cases, but You know, and then we're like, well, what about that guy over there? He was at the club last week. I saw him with a 14-year-old. And they'd be like, oh, well, that's not on our list. Somebody's watching that guy. And that guy, 10 years later, what about that guy? Oh, somebody's watching him. He's not on our list today. Right. So Matt Fogg is like, I'm not going to say Matt Fogg was deep state, but deep state uses Matt Fogg. Well, look, if anything happened, he would have got $4 million. You can't sue him. Right. It's a waste of time. Attorney, I already tried a couple attorney things. I couldn't even get to the attorney on my mother's thing, where we were going to get something, expunged. Right. And it's in wiretaps. It was on, I don't know if it is now. They may have got rid of everything, but it was on wiretaps. My mother saying a bunch of stuff. They said the latest one that came in that there were wiretaps that my mother was actually talking about them. Like they said, oh, he's crazy. It's not happening. But his mother's talking about it. Oh, he did that to his mother. But his brother's there too. Oh, they're just humoring him. And eventually, the officers are busy. Like, yeah, forget it. And then Weinstein breaks. Ah! Then they try to cover it up. Oh, like these guys were just interviewing her. That's all. They were just interviewing her. Like, what were they going to do with that? Oh, they interviewed Luna. They interviewed Nichols. They interviewed Larry. That's a person, That's not power, man. You're all going to hell. It's anti-power. It doesn't keep us safe. Keeps him out of prison. I do admit that. If that's what they're talking about, safer. Right? Losers. The losers are going to hell, man. That's why they make fake religion. I mean, they spent years, billions, trillions of dollars. They stole the money from the war, and they used it to empower the deep state. You see how atrocious that is. Trillions from the war. Schumer knows about that. Schumer doesn't care. Just cover it up. Right. So Mexico's had a lot of money put into it from the United States, from the war funds, or not war funds, the drug funds. I mean, the people come up here, send the money back, and it's still a shithole. It's not something money is going to fix. Neither in Venezuela. Being the president of Venezuela does not give you immunity from drug narcotics distribution and whatever else. They have some murders and stuff that they ordered. Right. I'll just tell you that. There is no thing, oh, you get diplomatic immunity. That's what they're trying to give them, like diplomatic immunity for a narco empire. Right. Now, the Honduras guy, like I said, I don't know if it's ever going to come out. I could be wrong. There's a small chance I'm wrong, but I doubt Trump's that stupid. Right. If you actually look at the Honduras guy, there's some sort of probably deal they made where they're going to help us. And actually, we don't know, but they may have already helped us with Venezuela. Right. See, but we have building a coalition. I wish Lula, his people, I don't know, they may not be real. Again, Lula could be a narcotics distributor who plays that game where I arrest the competition and our people get to deal narcotics, or it could be somebody below him and he's just a figurehead. Right? But Brazil is supposedly anti-narco pretty heavy, right? But it could be a scam, kind of like the DEA here. There are some people. We found a few. Right? Some you can't prosecute because it's too long ago. Right? And they didn't fall for the sting. Right? When I was in the government, there were people making millions of dollars off of crime. That's what it was. That's what happened to Luna somehow. They can't trust him. I had this, thing where I believed in people. He had this thing where he was just a liberal. He was pretty much a liberal, right? Oh, when they were look when I got drugged at the wharf, right? I'm walking up, and that guy Frank, he's standing there. He starts yelling at me because I'm like, "Oh, I feel sick. I was and he probably knew what was happening. Right? He showed signs that he knew what was happening. That I was drugged. Now I took one bite of the stuff, dudes. Women, I guess a lot of women say it's okay to call them dudes. They're usually gay, but if you go dudes, oh, it's okay. It's okay. Wink, wink. I was in the Monster Service. I tried to be fair to LGBTQ people. But every once in a while, I say, you know what I mean, dude? Because I work with men, most of the time. And the woman, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, don't worry, wink, wink. Well, they used to have deputies hitting on them on assignment. And I'm like taking them around. Okay, here's where you go shopping. And I'm talking to some of the women, but they're getting like hinked out. And a lot of women that are gay, that's part of it too. They've been like just manhandled so much they can't deal with being around men. So they have a little nervousness, and they go, and they wanted me to know they were gay. Right. But first off, I don't do that. Right? They were trying to real hard. And I didn't realize it was years. Like I thought it was just weird occurrences. But I finally figured it out that almost since my first day in the Marshal Service, they were trying to get me to hit on women so they could fire me. Right? Somebody was paying. So again, they play it as an investigation. But I'm sitting there, and every day I go to court, there's some woman that's paid to give me the eyes. And at first I thought it was just weird, people bored mind, women playing. But then I figured it out. Right. So again, it wasn't like a year or two. I don't even know how long. Luna may have been a year or two. I went into Marshal Service with it. They'd already been doing it in the BOP. Right. So again, there's somebody, and I don't know where it started, and probably it could have been actually people that were being paid by the communists that were in government that were mad that we were taking Ceausescu out, right, or helping. Well, I'm the only one that fought the Cold War after, like, my stepfather and all that. Right? My brother, they don't care. He's some head chopper, probably worked. Deep State liked head choppers. He was an engineer, but he eventually became a CFO. Right. Now, my brother will do what they say. But he won't help somebody they tell him not to help. Including his family. They made him believe like it was the Watchers, like the whole spiel of the deep state during Trump's first administration. We're the Watchers. We keep the world really safe. You can't handle the truth. You believe the Democrats actually tried that? It's the scam I just told you about. It's a scam. Right. Look, I got off track and I can't get back to it. I said something they don't like, or that made them nervous. I have to go listen to it. I'll figure it out. They willed it away. That's how they know witchcraft works. Right. They're giving too much access. So Maduro has no immunity whatsoever as being president of another country. Sovereignty's bullshit. I mean, went after Saddam, that was lawful. It's just the follow up was bullshit. Yeah, whether it was chemical weapons or not, that neither here nor there. In fact, we didn't go long enough, fast enough to do what we needed to do and then get out of there. You know, you want to put it under this umbrella of regime change. Just fucking dudes dealing drugs. He'd ordered a couple of murders. I think there's evidence. See, that's what the weird part. There's evidence of a couple of murders. I'd get it out of New York City. I just would. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but why you didn't get his case in Texas or Florida, I have no idea. Right? Because Mandami's going to speak bullshit about it the whole time. It's already shifted people's views in New York. But somebody said that the New York State controls the fares. That doesn't mean that they have to charge those fares. It just means they might have to reimburse the state for a certain amount of money, and that's where he gets the 2% tax or whatever he's going to take from the millionaires. So again, that was a stupid video. Because he's like, oh, he doesn't even control the fares, the state does. And oh yeah, but he's going to tax people, he's going to reimburse the state. Right. If he doesn't take over the thing completely. Because that could be the problem. That the state's running it instead of the city. If that's true. But there was a video that the state actually runs the transit. Or at least holds the purse strings. You know, sets the fares and all that. But they're both Democrats. I'm sure they can work it out. No, our people are on narcotics. It's like cucking us. It's like bitching us. That's what it is to them. They're sick. That's why they got a high gay population and they have a high trans population. They're doing it with spells, right? It's in their culture. And that also came in from some of the ICE people. They're noticing some of that culture and how it's working, right? Again, they'll never speak about it. They just don't have it in them to speak about it. Right? I collect my evidence from everybody. Oh, you again? What do you want? You work for social media, don't you? What are you tell me? No, there's never been a war on drugs. Now we start the war on drugs. They go, ooh, Cuba. They don't care about people, man. Again, they're deep state. Right. In fact, Schumer's going to get extra money now from somewhere. Maybe Venezuela. It could be an email, you know, go here and do this or go there and invest that. Right. We have to cut off the supply somehow. We're putting in a puppet. Well, it's better than Putin's puppet staying there, right? So again, let's be adults about all this. They hate Putin until it's Maduro, right? Or maybe they love Putin. Maybe it's a lie. Get rich fighting Putin. Right. Get powerful fighting Putin. Yeah, it's Putin's puppet. Now Schumer loves him, right? Thank you. There was a lot of bad things went on. And they also ran over those people with the armored personnel carriers and all that stuff. So again, those armored cars, what do they call them? A lot of stuff they don't know. That's the problem, is how to get them to step down and not worry about all the crimes they committed. But that's all it really is. Like, there's no reason not to, or not to, or at least cooperate. Again, I don't even think Trump has asked them to step down. I guess they're worried about follow-on administrations. Right. It's so stupid. Again, and Schumer's playing into it. So they won't do what they would normally do. I mean, they're aiding the enemy of the United States because they're giving them comfort that it's okay. Don't worry, we got it handled over here. So they won't buckle. It's just like those stupid protesters on the street, Schumer, Kelly, the same thing. Somebody's paying them, or somebody's already paid them. Politics is bullshit. They always call it politics. Like when they're after me, oh, it's just politics. But it's felonies. Well, it's politics. Let me see. No, I think we're going to get the tariff checks. It's just Trump's waiting to get closer to the to the midterms so they don't rip it apart before the midterms. Because you do something too early, they get too much time to rip it apart, right? And people forget; they have short memories. I mean, what have you done for me lately? Where's the other jet? But they piss people off. Like I said, for years they have fake. If they want to piss the public off, they just put out there. This is what the operators do. They put in the news these fake stimulus check articles. Anyways, that people actually spend money. People actually spend money based upon thinking they're going to get a stimulus check. So some of the debt was created by that, right? And the big, where's my stimulus check? Right. I used to have to tell this woman, the homeless woman, she wasn't quite homeless at first. The deep state operators did the same thing to her they did to me, and they made her homeless. They were trying to make me homeless. They still are. Trying to break somebody's mind, like they break somebody's mind to suicide. If they can't break your mind to suicide, they try to break your mind to homelessness. Now, I don't know if she's alive or dead. I kind of saw a sign she may have been alive earlier this year, but on like Facebook, she didn't contact me this time. They made her paranoid. Again, the problem is, in this day and age, a lot of people, everybody, I explained this before, everybody has psychological issues throughout life, but they only go so far and you're functional. They do is they try to push it to make it dysfunctional. They shouldn't be allowed to be there. Right? She'd still be living in Santa Fe in her apartment. What they did to her, and I noticed it, they started getting her interested in money. Like she was never like that. No, she wanted more money like everyone else, but it wasn't like I have to go back to work or something. That she can't work because she can't regulate her money. She can't perceive, and she used to tell me that, but they psyoped against it. She used to go, I'm not that smart. Tell me what I'm supposed to do here. I'm not, I don't understand all these things. I don't even think she's finished high school. Or she may have gotten her GED. I can't remember. But she was like, her first bout with homelessness was like 14 years old. So again, like I said, if anybody was ever on, disability and all that stuff, she's the person that earned it. She lived that life, right? Eventually, she became a little violent. And then she unviolented. And then she reviolented. They actually, again, it's the same thing I said about Doug Bettman. Like Doug Bettman supposedly had an issue with heroin as a kid. I don't know if that's true, but he did swallow some bags, allegedly, and got sick, and then he ended up in the hospital. And then they went and got his creds. There was a special operations group, but they caused that. They know how to trigger that. Right? It's illegal, man. It's not a sting operation. That's like Carol, it's a sting operation. 20 years and 1,000 agents and $10 million? It's a sting on one individual who's got nothing? And then we got all these drug dealers and sex traffickers and pedophiles that you hired to go after him, go after her. Why didn't you just investigate them and arrest them without the sting operation instead of hiring them? They were paying, man. Wake up. Welcome to the real world. They pay us, we pay them. They pay us in drug money, and we pay them in informant money. A great deal, right? One of the largest laundering operations in the history of the country. Law enforcement taking money and then paying government money to the drug dealers as informants, and the sex traffickers as informants, and the pedophiles as informants. Right? No, to get informant money, you got to be on the deep state list, man. I mean, there's a couple occurrences probably, but make any real money as an informant, you got to be on the deep state list. You got to be that fucking liar. Right? You got to be that spycraft operator. That's how it worked. All those years, the trillions and trillions of dollars we're throwing at shit. And Maduro's part of that, and Schumer's part of it. 100%. Oh, maybe we could just start with like real law enforcement now and see if we can stop it. So it's a national security issue. They can infiltrate our nation. It's not okay. It's beyond just narcotics distribution. They are spies infiltrating our country. Somehow they are compromising law enforcement. Somehow, again, I've told you how they do it. Somehow they're entering the United States and our borders are not secure. And it doesn't mean, oh, it's just a bunch of nice people that, I've seen them at Little Mexico in Chicago. It's not that. They are stealing our nation and paying off politicians and cops to allow it to happen. I'm a white supremacist? How is that? I helped you more than you helped yourselves. You let your fellow Hispanic, Latino fail because they told you to cause them to fail and let them fail. So don't tell me who I am because I know who you are. Piece of shit. Brown don't mean nothing to them. Green. They're all green. Green means something to them. Brown and black don't mean shit to them. Red don't mean shit to them. I've been there. I've watched how they treated their fellow red, brown, and black. Thank you. I was the N-word person. There's red people they treat like N-word people. Why do we treat them like that? Why? Because you love green. You don't love brown. You don't love black. You don't love red. You love green. Yeah, it was the new green, the new green idea, right? Give us money. Give us money. It's a green idea. The green plan. Give us money. Oh yeah, look at the squad there. They made quite a little bit of money there. That was a green plan. They got rich. It was there before our eyes. We didn't even see it. Big green scam. If I didn't wake you up to actually some of the science that was occurring around the planet, you may not even still understand it. Again, clean air. We agree to clean air. But again, not the bullshit that they had going on. The proof is actually, like I said, that cleaning the air made it warmer. Right. Well, because it wasn't heating up completely during the ozone layer depletion. Because why? Because there was a haze up there from the pollution. And like I said, Elon said he's going to try it. But I was the one that came up with the idea of just putting some haze back that's healthy, a healthy haze. Right. Figured out how to do that. I think it's more realistic than moving to Mars. Let's just update the present home. We're not moving. I think. Well, I don't want these people. It's in a movie. They get somewhere. Is it Space Odyssey? I'm trying to remember. They get somewhere and somebody's dead. Like there was a crack in the oxygen or something. The oxygen leaked. Or they ran out of oxygen because there's a leak in the vacuum or something. Some bullshit. But still, that's pretty much what's going to happen there. You're going to kill a bunch of people. We're still there. Just because I haven't spoke on it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's going to happen. So you have to wait. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think God's going to allow it. Well, again, my life had a certain quality of life before this started. You increase the deep state, which means you increase Satan. But we go to church. That's the point. Right. I tell you, when you wake up to it, it's like that scene. I said the scene in Rosemary's Baby. I was saying for a while, Rosemary had more than one baby. Right. Well, because if you realize what happens in that movie, she just moves into an apartment complex in New York. And so it's like a devil worshiping witches coven. But it's like regular neighbors. Hi, how you doing? You need help with that? Meanwhile, they're all like vampires and shit. But that's the way a deep state is, really. And that's the shock that caused, if Luna did commit suicide, to commit suicide. That the world is that shitty, and there's quote unquote supposedly no way out. No, I couldn't say anything. I was developing a case for the Justice Department if I could verify that they were real, and I couldn't do that before I left, so I just left it behind. Right. But they wouldn't. Again, you should blame the people, whoever it was that started it. When I got to California, even in Philadelphia, they were doing it. When I got to California, the people that started it up there. And the funny part was, I was told they got to rub elbows with famous people. It was just a scam. FBI agents would call, and monsters would call some star. So, oh, we got a guy that's a stalker. Like, I'm not stalking. I'm just online looking at somebody. But their fear was that somehow I would contact Madonna and she'd actually help me. So they'd secure the security people. Oh, if this guy comes around, don't let Brittany talk to him. I look at Brittany's like. The best thing could happen to Brittany is I'd have found her 15 years ago and talked to her. At least gave her the truth. Because I'd sit there and tell her about the truth. Right. Nobody speaks out. She needs somebody that speaks out to tell her that, okay, so what are you experiencing? Yeah, you have to understand there's these forces, good and evil. Right. If you start explaining stuff like that to Brittany, she'd figure it out. Right. So in your head are these things because you're big. They know you exist. Some hate you, they curse you, some love you, they bless you. Right? Like Reagan said, there's no left or right, there's only up and down. And that's in metaphysical. Right? There are Ronnie's around today, I guess. Yeah, we're going into Central America. No, it was weird because there was like if I was awake, I'd have seen it, and we actually would have been more successful. So that Central America game, I didn't realize what it was until I woke up that it was a cue. Right. Oh, everything was happening. I remember going for a run because I didn't know what seeing was. So I decided I'm gonna go for a run at Fort Campbell. And this is like my first enlistment, 3-year enlistment. And I'm out there, and all of a sudden Force Recon comes running by. And they're all looking at me. So like everybody knew something about me and I did. Right. They were at aerosol school or something. It was the weekend, of course. I'm running and they're running. Right. They destroy you, man. I mean, there's no way. It's like I figured out how to keep myself healthy. You can't. They're paying people millions of dollars if it takes to screw me out of massage therapy. Right. And then some of it's witchcraft, but not all of it. Right. And everything else that I was doing. No, they're devils, man. Oh, but we're in church, Yeah, right. That's the point. They're devils, man. They're not sinners. Okay, I want you to understand that. Right. And somebody's got to handle them. Handle it. Right. Oh, I've handled it. Believe me, they'd have more control, and they know it. They'd have more control of the planet if it wasn't for me. Right. So let me put this Talus in the washer at some point. I got like a backup of wash today. Well, put the spin cycle. I got one thing about the washer I purchased. It's got this great. It's a cheapie, but it's got this great spin only cycle, and it does two things. One, if you have a dryer, it cuts your dryer time. It's cheaper to run the spin cycle than it is the dryer, so it cuts your dryer down at least in half. So if you buy a washer, make sure you have a spin only cycle and use it. Saves you a lot of electricity. I don't have a dryer, but if I use the spin only, it's not wet, very wet when I take it out and I hang it up and it's dried real quick. Oh no, I should have moved to Pittsburgh. It's not Shangri-La here, but I should have moved here. I mean, I'm going to badmouth anybody that comes at me here, but this is one of the, again, I just thought this morning, why did I move back to Pennsylvania? I couldn't even get here. And that was their plan, to get me out of Pennsylvania. Right. Right. Again, they used those people I worked with to do that. We have to understand it. These are $1 million operators, right? And $1 million operations. They paid more on my operation than Harvey Weinstein paid, throughout the years. But right. That's real. So this is no little thing. It's their little scam. That he's just a delusional idiot. Right? They used my stuff, made money off it. So Moore's like, I mean, not Moore. My brother was like, which is Moore. So my brother Steve, he says, "Well, they never promised you money." I said, "Yeah, but like my brother talks about the system, and then when I say, but they didn't pay me for anything, he goes, well, he didn't promise you money." I'm like, "You're not a system." I said, "You're not a system works. They're supposed to pay you." That was the weird part. Like I was in Miami, and my roommate starts talking about my money. So why don't you do that? You can get your money. So like she heard. I didn't know she could hear. Right. She was some rich, I think a rich Italian family. I mean, she wasn't rich, but her mother would give her money. I don't think she was making any money. Right. She eventually married some Spanish guy in Miami. It was okay. And they bought a place. The Israeli woman owned them. But now they're like, I don't know, she must have sold. and because there were these little bungalows on this dead end street on Biscayne Bay. But now they're like really expensive condos and stuff. Right. But an Israeli, an Israeli woman owned it. That's how it stayed like it did. She's probably Mossad connected, right? But then they probably sold it, got a profit, and moved somewhere else. Right? They didn't have the one towards the water. It was a few houses down, I guess. We were like the second house from the water. Right. Oh, so I was with the Cuban people. I was with all those people, the Venezuelans. So, look here, see if I have a leak or it's just something coming off from the countertop. Just get messed up. I think it's coming from the countertop. I might be wrong. It's like a lot of water here. Clean this up. Take a look at it in a bit. This could be a nasty little job here. Well, he talked about the other place you can't even see the plumbing. Right. Like in my bathroom, they have a vanity and it has a panel, so you can't even look under to see the plumbing. So when he inspected, he's like, I can't even see anything. I might have to call somebody. I have to keep an eye on this. Could be a plumbing joint leaking. So we'll have to get to the prayers in a little bit. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.